So in this session, we are going to see about the different functionalities what we can basically achieve using expression transformation. So expression transformation has got a lot of functions which are capable of transforming the source data into different formats. So for example, let's suppose what sort of data we have in HR. So let me see about employees. Okay. This is kind of this is kind of perfect example what I can actually do. Let me create employee table. Employee. I don't want any data in this. Okay, it is already there. Let me draw employee table. Perfect. Now I will get the source created from HR schema and target will be from my test schema. Then connect within PwC user, so which has access to HR schema. In that, I am interested on employees. Table, select that and click on OK. So now I got the table inserted. Now the similar table I want to have it in target also. I'll connect it. Now we have got the employee table created as well definition. So we'll import the definition. So now let me create a mapping. Expression. In this we are going to see various transformations, as in various ways how we can manipulate the data using expression transformation. Source is employees, so we will get the target is again employee. So let's see the data in the employee first. Then after that we'll try to analyze what changes we can basically do. So here the first name and last name we have in two different fields. We have got email field without email. We have got job ID, phone number, manager ID, salary, and then department ID. What we can basically do is we can concatenate first name and last name and then populate that in one column, which is nothing but full name. Let me order the employee table. Order table employee. Full name. Varchar 2 of 100 LB. The column gets added to the schema and it gets added to the test schema, not in my uh, HR schema. So we'll have another column. So we have hire date. Hire date. I want to know years of experience. What is the years of experience? So I'll add one more column in the same table, which basically has YOE, nothing but years of experience. I'll say decimal 19 comma 2. So job ID. Okay. Mm, I think let's try to do that, and then probably we can simplify. Now that we have got a new columns added, my definition got updated. So one way is we manually add those changes. Another way is we re-import the definition. I don't want to re-import as in add those manually. Sometimes it could be error prone, and then sometimes you might even miss. So I prefer replacing my target. I got my target replaced. I was able to see the full name and years of experience what were recently added. Now, what are so I got the target definition updated, which means I will see the same number of columns which got updated in the mapping as well. So it reflects automatically. Now let's pull the expression. Expression will be with the fx. So this is one way, clicking on fx and then we click on mapping designer. That is one way of adding expression transformation. Another way is transformation, create, then we choose expression. So this is another way we can add expression. So we got the expression created. So we can add the desired fields what we want to basically uh, load into the target. So in this case, let me load everything. We will just add few things and then probably we can do that. So first thing is I want probably if the requirement is something like concatenate my first name and last name and populate full name. So I'll add one port using this port symbol, add a port, make it output port. If we enable that output port, it gives us expression enabled. I updated the length also here. So when the expression is enabled, what I can do is I will add those two columns. So first name, concatenate. Again, it is a space concatenated with last name. So double pipe is concatenate. Alternatively, we have a function called concatenate operation, which will be available in string character. We have concat, which is capable of concatenating string one with string two. I generally prefer pipe because it is fast and then it is capable of concatenating more than two columns. So I can validate this expression. Then if I try to refresh, basically I'll get this prompt where I can basically provide the AB. So the A space B will be my output. If I give something like hellos, and then last name is world exclamatory mark evaluate hello world. So these are like two strings which gets appended. We can evaluate also the functionality rather than even before running the workflow. This is the coolest feature which we have got in Informatica to test that functionality of the logic what we are having in place with sample test value. So this is one thing. I have got the full name populated, then years of experience. So years of experience is decimal. I'll have it 3. So here what I'll do is in my function. So if we are not familiar on anything, what we can basically do is we have something called help. So datediff is one function which can basically do the difference and then what format we want. So if you want more information on datediff, click on help here. Then it so in the index, just search for date underscore diff. Date underscore diff. So yeah, date underscore diff. So we got usage and also the details will be provided with examples. So the syntax is date diff, date one, date two, and then format. The format, so 3 columns are mandatory. So it is capable of getting the hours difference, and then it is capable of getting days, number of days, number of years, day of year. Day is number of days, number of months, as well as years also. If we see, so date diff, date promised, and we have date shipped, and based on each value we have got different return values. So uh, if the date promised is February 19 2004 and February 19 2005, we have got return value -1. So in our case, we want in terms of years of experience, in terms of years. So what we can basically do is we can go with y. Why? So we can evaluate those also here, they diff. So from the moment I have joined, as in it, I was hired, and then sysdate. So those are the things which need to be compared. I was hired, so we have got something called hire date. We have something called hire date. I'll add hire date, and then we want to compare with sysdate. And then the format is y. Let's see how this one. So date time. I cannot provide this data really. And that too we cannot evaluate date related things here. So we can test this by running the workflow. So what we can do is I'll just tweak this. So I want to subtract hire date from sysdate. Perfect, it is validated successfully. I'll just map these two ports from expression to my target table. Then I have to create a session in Workflow Manager. new mapping and we don't have the existing session already developed. So we need to create a session. Then we need to configure the source details and target details. So my source is source qualifier, target is test user. In source, again, the schema is HR, so I need to specify HR. Target is same schema, so I am done, as in I am fine with that. So if we are populating the data full load every time, we can use the option truncate target table. What this will do is every time when we are running the session, it deletes the data completely, as in it truncates the table and then freshly populates the data. Okay, so this is what, so it loaded 107 records is what it is saying. So let's see without hr.employees our schema, and then employee is the table I have created. So let us see the last two columns. So if we see the sysdate is sysdate for this is 2020 September 23rd, and the person got joined in 2015. So 17 years and 17.27 years experience. Years of experience is 17 years. Let's pick someone who is kind of recently hired. I'll just sort it. I don't see anything. So what we will do is we will just update some data in employee. And go to data. This is departments. I want to update employees. Perfect. We can do it using update statements also. Then I want to do real quick on certain values only. So let's suppose somebody got hired today itself. Okay. Cannot update row. It was not able to update. Let me quickly see. Okay. Let me try to add a row. Okay. Employee email. I'll use Arnold1. Okay, perfect. It got inserted, so at least we have got one record which is kind of hired in 2019, which means close to year and a half around that. Let's try to load. So right now we have got close to 127 records. Let's quickly do count star. 107 records. So another thing I am interested in, we have done two things. One is the years of experience, and another thing is we have concatenated the last name and full first name as well. So we have got that in place also. So if you see Stephen King, so we can get that if we want to really validate those Stephen King. It was having a space separated thing in Lex D hand. So we have D hand, Lex is prefixed. So we have got almost all the data. We can do some more additional changes on that. So let's quickly do that thing. So after concatenating, I want it to be in uppercase. I am trying to do an upper function. Then, yeah, that's it. I will try to load the data. So two changes expected is years of experience close to 1.5. We should have same 108 records because we have added one more record. The previous record should be deleted. So 108 because we have added one more entry. Now, if we see the count rows on employee, we should see a 108 only because we have the target table truncate option enabled at the target level. So which means the first thing what it is going to do is it is going to truncate the table data. Then it is going to load the complete data. So the two changes are one record got added, and then the expectation is the a full name should have the uppercase data. Okay. Full name, yeah, perfect. If you see the first name and last name are kind of having lowercase, however, since I have applied upper function, the full name whatever got generated, it is having the uppercase data. So, okay, this is perfect. Let me see the years of experience for this particular record where it is 2019. Yeah, perfect, 1.72. Since it is uh, 2020, Jan and September, 8 months, yeah, 1.72. The same thing we can do here also. Uh, this date minus higher date. Where is my higher date? Higher underscore date. If we see 629, because let me do a trunk on both the sides. It actually does on that one. So trunk when I do, it does not go to the detail level. So 629 days difference. So 629 and if we approximate to 365 days, 365 hours. So by 365. We will get the similar data. Yeah, 1.72. 3 is being rounded off to 1.72. That is what we are exactly getting in years of experience, which is populated by Informatica using the dative function. This is perfectly what we have got. So expression has got lot of functions. These are not just the functions what are kind of available. We can even invoke an unconnected lookup using an expression transformation. So in the expression under functions, when we have lookups in place, we'll have one more category called lookups where we can invoke lookups as an unconnected function. So in the all functions, these are different functions which are kind of available for us. So absolute value, which is going to return me the without any negative thing. Add to date, if we want to add year or date or month, so we can use add to date. So add to date value, what we want to add, the format as into we want to add it to year or month or date, and then the value what we want to add. Then these are in advanced encryption service. So one is to decrypt and another is to encrypt. So this requires two things. One is value and another is key. Keys for encryption and decryption. ASCII. ASCII is nothing but if we have so ASCII code of any character seal, it is so it is similar to database function keyword seal, where it is going to provide us or return the next uh, nearest integer. So choose is going to return the characters which are specified. CHR is to convert any numeric to character. Then we can return the uh, decimal representation of character code. Compress if you want to basically so yeah, if you want to, if we are getting a huge value and we want to make it a very small value for comparisons, we can use this comparison. Concat, another substitution for pipe operator. It is basically to kind of concatenate two columns. So these are some mathematical functions. So we can use date compare, date difference. Date difference is something what we have used to calculate years of experience. Decode functions, something like a switch. So decode, then we provide, so I'll just explain some of them. Decode, then I'll provide some employee ID, or maybe I'll say decode job ID. When one, I'll populate. When two, I'll populate second. Else, I'll populate. We can have any number of values. 3, I can populate third. Then if it is else, not applicable. How to read this is we are decoding the first, we will pass first parameter is the column name. So if the column name is containing value 1, it will return first. If the column name is going to have the value 2, it is going to return second. If the column is going to have 3, it is going to return third. If the column, as in none of the values 1, 2 or 3 exist, it returns not applicable. I'm going to show you. So, yeah. So since these are kind of integer, so string and integer, so it is having issues. So I gave in the form of string. So we have the job ID as uh, job ID column as string. So it is expecting string. So when I populate 1, it is giving the values first. If I populate 2, it will return the value second. If I populate the value 3, it will display me third. If I populate something like 31, it is not going to populate 31. It is going to populate not applicable because the list, so every alternate value is nothing but the value which is going to be searched in job ID. In job ID, so we are going to search for one. If it is matched, it will return first. If it is not matched, it will be compared with the second value, which is 2. If it is matched, the second will be returned, and then followed by 3 if it is matched, third. Else, if none of the values are matched, it is going to return not applicable. So this is with respect to the decode operation. So only limitation with decode is we can compare on a single column. If we want to have a comparison on multiple columns, so we cannot go for decode. Um, if is another kind of very um, frequently used function. So when we have lot of comparisons, we can go for if let's suppose something like if is null of my so I'll have my column job ID. If my job ID is null, then I am going to populate something like default value -2. If the job ID is not null, so if can have if when the condition is matched, then clause, then else clause. If then else. So this will be separated by comma. So I have already provided my then clause. So then clause need not be the value. It can also be another if clause. So let's suppose I'll have the similar thing in the else instead of if clause. So here in the else clause again, I'll try to invoke another if, wherein I'll say if my job ID is null, I am straightforward populating -2. If job ID is not null, then I am going to check if job ID equal to empty string. Empty string, then I'll populate -1. Else, again, I can either populate, so I'll give the correct usage of this. I'll validate perfectly successfully. So when we don't have the value in job ID, we are populating -2. If there is a value and if it is empty string, then we are populating -1. If neither job ID is null nor it is -1 as an empty string, then we are going to populate something called job ID, whatever we have. Let's suppose 1, it has a valid value, so it is going to return the same thing. If I give an empty string which is nothing but I don't give anything, it is going to return -1. It is an empty string. We cannot represent null here. So in case if null evaluates, then it is going to return -2. So if can go on based on our logic. Another thing is we can have nested things also. And another thing, job ID, length of job ID, length of job ID, length of job ID not equal to 0, so on and so forth. We can have multiple conditions in the same condition clause. So first thing is a condition. If the condition is matched, then clause. If it is not matched, then else clause. So this is, so it does not bother, it doesn't bother the then clause is value or it is another calculation. So this is with respect to if. Then what we have got, we have got in string. This is another good example. The in string is most frequently as in used when we want to do substring. Let's suppose I have job ID, and then in job ID I'm searching for the position character I. So I'll just return like this. I'm validating, it will validate. In string is going to return me the position of occurrence of the first occurrence of I. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, in this, I'm going to say, so pine I gave, so I is in second position. So let's suppose paint I gave, I is in third position, so it gives 3. Painting I want second occurrence of I, but if I try to use painting, I will not get with this kind of thing. But what if I want the second last, as in last occurrence of I? I can give something called third parameter, which is -1. -1 is nothing but from the reverse, from the reverse. Now, if I evaluate, still it shows me 3. So when we do some change here, we need to validate and then refresh. So when we refresh here, I can provide the value again, painting. Then if I evaluate, it goes for the second position as a last. So even if I have multiple eyes here, it goes for the eye present in the last occurrence. So in painting, I is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as soon as I remove double I, two eyes I removed, so it is going to give me something called uh, I. So is in sixth position. So if you want last occurrence of any character, we are supposed to use -1. So this is in string. So this is most commonly used when we want to perform a substring. In case of substring, we might not be familiar on the index where we want to actually split some data. Let's suppose the most common example is, let's suppose I have something called full name. Uh, Give something called, let's suppose I take, okay, I'll use uh, job ID itself, and the job ID I have something called underscore. I want to split it. So our job ID has two things, which is the department and then something like, okay, branch, and then another thing, branch followed by ID, and I want to split the branch. So it's a substring on, I want to do it on job ID from 1 to the position -1. So since it is going to return me the index of underscore, but however I want to get the first part, where is branch, I don't want the ID, then I can use something like that. So in this case, let's suppose my it is something like BR underscore 101. So when I use evaluate, it is going to give me BR. What exactly it is doing is, substring is another function which is going to return me the part of a string. So in this case, we are saying, give me the string, return me the string from first position till the positions as a number of characters. This is not till this position. From first position, these many characters. So in string is going to return underscore means 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. So I'm saying 2 characters you give from 1. From first position 1, 2 characters is BR. So that's why we are seeing BR. Don't get confused with the index of arrays or something. Arrays and array index actually starts with 0. Don't get confused with that. Here indexing is 1, 2, 3, and so on. So in string is going to return me the substring. So let's suppose if I have something called BRI. If I specifically hard code return my first two characters, so I'm supposed to get here BRI, not BR. So when I evaluate, since I am using in string, I am dynamically getting the value of underscore. If I had a hard coded this value to 2 by default, though we are giving BRI underscore 101, since we asked for only 2 characters, it is going to return only BR. So it is always good to have in string when we are not familiar on the exact occurrence of a specific character. So is date, so this is going to validate if it is a date, is number is going to validate if it is a number, is spaces if it contains any space, is null, we have already seen if the data is not having any data. So last day means in a month, let's suppose February. In February, sometimes it could have, when it is a leap year, it will have 29. If it is not leap year, we'll have 28. If you want to identify what is the last day of a month, we can use last day of the particular date, and it returns the last day of that particular month. So this is a keyword or a function which is available in Oracle as well, the last day function. So length is nothing but, so this is going to provide us the number of characters present in a string. So lower is going to return me the data in lowercase. LPAD, this is something I'll try to, okay. I'll explain lower also how it works. Lower of job underscore ID. So if I do something like, I gave in uppercase, since we have applied lower, it is going to return me the lowercase downcase value of job ID. So if I use length function on this job ID, since high is two characters, it is going to return me 2, length is 2. If I return something like hello, it is having 5 characters. It is going to return me length of job ID is 5. So LTrim, okay, LPAD. So this is another good thing what we can use when we don't know, as in when we want to specifically fix the length of a particular column. So though we give 2 characters, we want to display 5 character string. So in that case, we can go with LPAD and RPAD. So it all depends on how we want to use. LPAD is when we want to pad something from the left. RPAD is when we want to pad some dummy value from the right. So in this case, LPAD has 3 parameters. One is how many characters we want to and what character we want to pad. Let's suppose in this case, I want to pad some P. When I refresh, so let's suppose I give something like HH. It pads PP from the beginning. So to make the length 5, if I give triple H, it is going to pad PP. Ultimately it makes same thing. If I give 4 H's, so we need to make the length 5, so PHH. If my length is already 5, it is not going to pad anything. However, if my length is more than that, it is going to remove the extra part. So let's suppose though I give H, it is going to remove from the right. If I give KH, so this is for understanding purpose, it retains. It is not going to trim from the right, as in from the left, it is going to trim from the right. So if the length, so I'll add 2 things. If the length is lesser than that, it is going to add, prefix it, LPAD. If the length is more than that, it is going to trim those, or it is as good as it is kind of doing a substring only till that specified character in the second parameter. LTrim is capable of removing spaces from the left, RTrim from the right. MD5 is the important function which we generally use when we are doing any data warehouses. So this is basically when we have many columns, SCD columns, slowly changing dimensions. So in order to really validate whether a change had happened on a particular record, rather than comparing the values of each and every column, we can populate a message. MD5 is nothing but a message digest function. So it is going to provide an alphanumeric value. So we can compare the alphanumeric value of the existing data. If the value is matching, then there is no change. If the value, in case anything changes, the hash value gets modified. So that is the good indicator uh, to basically understand if there are any changes happen on data. Then we have something. So power is something when we want, uh, let's suppose 10 square or something like that. Power 10 comma 2 100. If I give something like 10 power 4, okay, I need to refresh the 10 power 4, 10,000. So I can give 2 power 10 is 1024, 2 raised 10. So power is as good as that. Rand is random value. A random value, if you want, we can use rand. Then reg extract. Reg extract is when we are doing subtract, as in substring, the reg extract are kind of similar when we don't know, as in we know the pattern what we want to extract, then we can actually use reg extract. So again, reg means regular expression. Reg replace. When we want to replace a pattern, we can actually use reg replace. Replace char, replace string. When we want to replace a character or a string, we can use these functions. As in replace means in our input, let's suppose I have got a mistake in a particular value, or I want to replace one value with another value, we can always use replace char and replace string. Um, Trunc is another function which we can use, and it is capable of populating different variations. So set var, set minimum var, set count var, these are parameters. When we create parameters, so these are going to use set and get variables. So setters are to set, and then we can get variables also to retrieve the values. SQRT, square root, soundx is soundx function. These are kind of used when we are doing, when we want, as in when there are certain cases where we can't do exact comparison, but if we want to do comparison, so when they're like, the best example is if my characters are not exactly matching, but the sound is matching. So those sort of validations when we want to do, we can use go for the sound extreme. Sys timestamp, this is a function to return the date and time. Tan, these all are mathematical functions. These are conversion functions to underscore begin. So if we have got anything, this will help us to convert into big integer. So to to convert into character data, any numeric or anything. To of date. So this can basically use to display dates in various formats basically. To of numeric, again this one will convert something into character. To date, when we have got character data, but when the output we want is a date data type, so we can go for to date function. To decimal, when we want to convert it to a decimal format, to float, to integer, so these are conversion functions. Trunc of date, when we want to basically remove time part, and when we want to see only the date part of it, we can use trunc of date. Upper function we have seen, it is basically to convert the characters into the uppercase or uppercase data. So these are all functions, and again these are kind of categorized into various categories. The same functions what we have seen it there, they are available as a categories. So if you want to, so it's like rather than scrolling the complete bunch of list, if you know the category, we can open that specific category and then view it. Let's suppose we want to do a conversion from one data type to another data type, then we, rather than seeing through all the functions, we can come to the conversions folder, and these are the list of conversions available. So these are different, as in different types of functions which are available to us. We can also have a user-defined functions also, which we can basically create on top of what we have. So here we see the user-defined functions. So if we create user-defined functions in Informatica, so we can see them, we can call them, use them in expressions also. So I'll make use of, I have a full name field. We will see how to make use of regular expression. So the agenda is, I want only the numbers. I want to, so what I'll do is, I want to replace basically dot, but everywhere where we have encountered dot, I want to replace. So we can go with regular expression replace. So as in, so in this case, if we see in the phone number, it basically has a dot, but then sometimes it may not be dot. It could be, let's suppose, maybe what I can pick is, so if group of things, let's suppose if our data is containing, okay, this is the best example. Email. This is one thing I'll do. So after transforming, I'll populate this one. What I will do is, so here I have called AUAHUNOLD1. So regular expression replaces, I don't know which number which might present in my data, but I don't want numbers. In that case, I can use regular expression replace. I'll just use regular expression replace on my email. So expression. Okay, this is Oracle function system. Maybe I can do that also. Regular expression, replace. What I'll do is, in email, I will remove anything between 1 to 9, 0 to 9 rather. Anything between 0 to 9, I will replace that with empty string. So let us pick this value and see if our function is working. The same value email one, if I populate, evaluate. Okay, refresh. Okay, there you go. So if I give one, two, three, anything we give, it is going to completely get that part removed. So if, let's suppose, if I want to replace A to Z, I can use like this: A to Z, A to Z, Z. So in this case, if I populate the same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, something, it is going to replace the character part and retain me number. So regular expression, it basically works like a pattern. It does not go with, as in, we don't know, sometimes we can't specifically say, okay, this substring, you do substring and then this part you replace. So sometimes we might have, it need not necessarily be group of characters. Let's suppose my data can be present in between data also. What it is going to do is, no, wherever it encounters some character, not a number, it is going to replace. In this case, if we see, so 1 is my first occurrence, 2 is second occurrence, then U is replaced, 3, 4, then followed by 1, 2, 3, 4 at the end. So wherever it finds a character, it replaces with a null. So if I want to replace with some other value, I can replace that. Let's suppose if I replace with 0. So what I'll do is 1A, S, B, 2, G, 4, 5, 5, 6. Let's suppose if I have percentile, I have not mentioned percentile in the pattern. So percentile will be retained in this case. Whatever we are mentioning here, those are kind of will get replaced. A, B, C, percentile, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, X, percent, dollar, percentage. So dollar is a new value. dollar will not get replaced, but wherever we got any character, B is replaced with 0, A is replaced with 0, C is replaced with 0, X is replaced with 0. So wherever we have got some value, it was kind of replaced.